What I intend now to do is to ensure that we go through the functions, because these functions of management are so crucial in understanding the base of management so that we know what managers ought to be doing in any given space. So today, our discussion will be premised on planning, the first function of management. Again, you would note that look, once you have a life that is bereft of planning, then there is nothing more to achieve, because our lives are intentional. And indeed, this topic comes at a point where we went to cross over and we said all manner of things. But me, my fervent resolution was that I want to sack my wife. She's troubling me. And so I'm planning towards that. I started yesterday. It is not working. I hope that by the end of the year, she would go voluntarily. But having said that, you would recall that the part of the conversation is that you need to plan in order to have a sustained and intentional success. That is the whole idea. So as a manager, the process that begins the whole management effort is planning. Indeed, if you fail to plan, the adage says you plan, therefore to fail. And we agree as managers with that axiom, because planning is the principle of primacy. It means that it is the starting point that leads into motion all other things. That's primacy. It is the foundation for which all other things will be best. But remember, it is a very daunting process. It takes a lot of intellectual capacity. So there are people who plan. Well, but the plans don't have that intellectual rigor as you require. But there are others who, when they plan, once you go by the plan, there is some sustenance of achieving such a plan. All right. In any case, as we zoom into what the types of planning would be, our concentration should also be brought to why we need to plan. And I do not think that eminent people like you would have me talk about importance of planning at this level. No, I'll not talk about it. The floor is open. Tell me why we need to plan. Why a business needs to plan. The most important question is planning required only for unsuccessful businesses or businesses that are coming out of the woods? Or planning is also relevant for successful businesses? The floor is open. What are the importance? And tie it into the conversation of whether or not you plan as a successful business also, or planning is only the preserve of unsuccessful businesses. The floor is open, colleagues. I know it's Saturday. Some of you may not have even brushed your teeth, but proceed to respond since you have come for the lecture. Let's hear you. Yes, why do we plan? May I hear you? Colleagues, why do we plan? I take
It
two of
actually helps you to have control so that you can control whatever activities you intend having, and then it will also help you to supervise it well once you plan everything.
excellent. Thank you, better. Once you plan, you're able to fervently control. Because at the end of the day, when we look at controlling, you would recognize that control is the last bit of the managerial function. But you are going to peg it with a certain standard you have set. And that standard can only be routed through planning. So excellent, better. Planning ensures that at the end of the day, your controlling effort is achievable. Yes, may I hear you? Is it Juliana?
Yes, sir. Planning help us to set a clear objectives for our business.
Brilliant. Brilliant. And she's mentioned the point that will come to us to the types of planning. You'd recognize that planning allows you to have the ability to set objectives that are achievable. You know, as you are here, some of you are planned to become the overall best student, and yes, you achieve it. That objective guides you throughout the process. So thank you. Is it Frimpoma? So let me hear it.
Planning also help us to achieve our objective. As the business, it will lead us to success. Since we have set our objective and we plan towards it, when we go by our plans, if we plan really well, we will achieve our objective and there will be success.
Thank you, Rita. It can't be better than this. When you plan, you're able to achieve that successfully. And like we said, a planned life is better because when you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Is there an additional comment to be made? Then I proceed. Is it Rita? Or there's another? Okay, Alice.
Okay. Hello.
Okay,
Yeah.
sir. So
Mhm.
planning also encourages discipline and orderliness. That is, each and everyone in the organization knows their roles and responsibilities.
Beautiful. You see, once you plan, thank you, Alice. Once you plan, everyone is clear as to the kind of discipline, roles, and responsibilities that they should all have. And they are all guided by it every day because there's a plan in place. You don't go doing someone else's work in the organization and you become disciplined for that effort. Thank you so much, Alice. Is it from
It
Poma?
also it
Yes,
also
okay, but
helps you save unnecessary delays.
oh, like my marriage. I've been planning since and better. Oh, I plan, I'm an old man and I need to take wrong meat. Better, can you imagine? But whatever it is, we'll keep planning.
It
Yes,
is well.
amen, amen. You should see me falling down under the Holy Ghost on Sunday. Was it the 31st night? Hmm. And my wife was looking at me and said, look at this man. All right, let's proceed. Is it Rita? Did you want to make a comment or is it Frimpoma?
Please, I wanted to add that.
Yes, please.
When we plan well, we're able to avoid wastage of resources and
Excellent.
also avoid some accidents in future.
Good. And you know you're a lady, so you know what impulse buying is, right? When you go to the market.
Yeah, yes, please.
Hey, and you not plan. Oh, Jesus Christ. We'll come back home finished, but you bought nothing. So that's good. It makes you stop going around in circles because you have planned. And so you go for what you need, and so be it. Okay. Did Frimpoma want to have added anything?
Uh, I'd wanted to also add that it helps us to make use of a very good, efficient use of what our resources in the organization, so that all the resources will have their work as per what to do in the organization.
That is intelligent. Thank you, Frimpoma. And you see, once you are able to have those plans in place, everything else just falls in line in the organization. Everything else, there's effective and efficient use of resources. Effective and efficient use of resources. And I may ask, because I mentioned this word, and Frimpoma is the one who introduced it into the conversation. So, which one is effectiveness and which one is efficiency? I would ask a question. Which one is effectiveness and which one is efficiency? So, when you do things right, or you do the right things, which one of them is efficiency and which one is effectiveness? Doing things right and doing the right things. Which one of them is effectiveness? Which one is efficiency? Let me hear you. Yes, Alice, please proceed.
Okay, so I think doing the right things in order is the effectiveness. Then doing the things in the right way is the efficiency.
Yeah, so Alice, you change the examiner's report. So the question is,
Okay.
no, you are answering it, but you have changed the words. Don't change the words. Doing things right and doing the right things. Which one is effectiveness and which one is efficiency?
Doing things right is effectiveness. Then doing things in the right way is efficiency.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Alice.
Or shall I change it?
Oh, you've not changed it. You have expressed it beautifully. Thank you, Alice. Who thinks in line or in a different way, doing things right and doing the right things? Which one is effectiveness and which one is efficiency? Which one? These are three objectives, eh? Okay, let's proceed. Now we have, as many as you have said, there are useful lessons to take from the conversation, which is that there's some intentional attitude towards ensuring efficiency, effectiveness, towards achieving your goals, ensuring order and discipline, ensuring that you get success, both organizationally and also as a person. That is the whole prompting, the reason for which we plan. But planning in the organization has a lot of manifestations. In fact, the types of plans will include your vision. Vision is a plan. Your mission, your objectives, strategies, and operational plans. And that's the invitation we have today, to look through all these types of plans and see what they mean. Remember, as it relates to this course, planning in terms of its types are this. And may I stress, in the exams, types of plans, we want this. There are people who write a lot of things that we've not even heard of. I plead, types of plans as it relates to this is vision, mission, objectives, strategies, and operational plans. Whatever you know are the types of plans, you can keep it for the other discussions. This in this course, these are the types of plans. Let's start with vision. Vision is where you want to be. The dream, Martin Luther King says, of blessed memory. He says, I have a dream. Indeed, I actually also have a dream. I'm sure all of you have a dream of where you would wish to be. And I don't know if I've said it. If I haven't, I'll say so. If I have, I may repeat that I want to be president of Ghana. I want to be president of Ghana. And looking on the platform, we're about 13. So I have 13 votes already, irrespective of the party that I'll join. But I hope that you can tell my party I'm an away from the voter region. So you can guess my party. But don't engage in stereotype. Don't engage in stereotype. But I am an away from the voter region. So that is my vision. I'll get 13 votes for deciding to be president. Now, look, the beauty is that as for vision, you may not achieve it all. I'm not saying I'll not become president. Let that be clear. I'll become. But as for vision, there is no yardstick to enforce its materialization. You dream big. You dream very big as a vision. As an organization, you are able to ensure that your vision drives the organization. When you look at SIC Insurance, it says it wants to be the best insurer in West Africa. And I ask myself, SIC Insurance, are they even in Keta? Are they in Hope? Are they in Yampala? Are they in Koforide? Are they even cut across Ghana to the extent that they'll move to the neighboring country, Togo, and now spread throughout the West African market? The answer may be no, but it is their vision nonetheless. So vision is that thing that creates direction in the organization, and it is a plan. You dream big. The vision is a point where you dream very, very big. Then it drives everybody. But well, beyond your dream big is your mission, your actual mission, the aim with which that establishment, the business is in operation. You don't just hear in the mission, you don't say anything. Whatever you say is what you are measured by. So your mission will determine the unique aim of the organization. The vision allows you to dream big, but the mission encourages you to have a unique aim for the business. And that aim sets you apart from all other businesses within the space. It tells you what you are there to do at a particular point in time. So as you are in class, your mission is to ensure that, well, you come to class and ensure you're getting of an A in principles of management. But perhaps your vision may be to become the biggest manager Ghana would ever know. And that is possible. But your mission here this morning is towards ensuring that at the end of the day, you get some A. So you are here learning, reading, understanding, and generating knowledge to achieve the mission. The business also, by virtue of its production, must also ensure that it sends a clear signal of what they wish to do in the space they operate. That describes their mission, the scope of their business, their values. So remember, we have looked at the first type of plan, which is vision. The next type of plan is mission. You need to plan all these things because they don't happen by chance. One tells us where you are going, you dream big. The second tells us your actual aim, the basis for your existence as it relates to your service or your product and your values. Now we are going down a bit from vision. We move down to mission. And now we are coming to objectives. And as I opened the floor for comments as to the importance of planning, we mentioned to achieve objectives. What are these objectives? Vision is at the top. Mission comes underneath. The next is objectives. These are specific goals and aims that the business would wish to attain in pursuit of its mission. So if your mission here is to get an A, what are your objectives that perhaps in the in the assignment, I'll get 10 over 10. That's your, so you have an objective for your assignment. Those are specific. In pursuit of your mission of getting an A, assignments, I'll get 10 over 10. First quiz, I should get 18 over 20. The exams, I should get perhaps 50 over 60. Then I am on the right footing. Those are specific goals that allows you to attain the mission. Specific goals that allows you to attain the mission. Yeah, so you know, the distinguishing thing is that when it comes to your purpose, that may be broad, but your objectives are guided by specific targets. And I recall when I was in the university and I was introduced into the university space, my view at the time was that when I'm done with level 400, then I move ahead. So this was my plan. Level 400, when I'm done with school, I read BCom at the time. When I'm done with school, then my objective is, because I wanted to be a pastor. That was my goal. I wanted to be a pastor and practice accounting. But you can tell that the accounting I'm on it, but the other one I'm still at it. So I said, okay, when I'm done with level 400, by the time I'm done with school, I should get a job, specific objective. I said, okay, I'll work at KPMG. You know, when at the time when you're reading BCom, they tell you, I don't know whether it's deception or truth. So when you are all done, you work at KPMG. It's an accounting firm. So we're all happy that we work at KPMG. And so that was my, okay, then after which I'll get married, have children, and then proceed to be a responsible man in society. Now look at me. Even the KPMG, when I sent my application after school, they did not even respond as to whether they've received the application or not. So there I became unemployed. Then, but as for the ladies, you know that we'll have some. So I proceeded to enter into some bilateral relationship. Now here am I. Plenty children, I'm not an accountant, and I am here with you this morning on Saturday. So you can tell that objectives are specific. Once you do not attain it, you're able to tell. When I did not get a job at KPMG, it was clear that I did not achieve it. That is in pursuit of my mission of becoming a practicing accountant and a pastor. Look at me. So your purpose can be broad aims, but your objectives are the specific ones that will guide you, and they are derived from the mission to the extent that when you achieve all your objectives, the tendency is that you are gearing towards your achieving of your mission. But when you fail at your objectives, it compromises the mission. Look, objectives have a guideline. You don't just set objectives, as we have been at pains to say. And please remember, objectives are specific. I want to do this by this time. So now let's look at the rule that guides objectives. In crafting your objectives, you must be smart. And please, SMART is an acronym. Perhaps you have heard of this rule before. What does the S stand for? Anyone? S, objectives must be what?
Simple.
Hey, but Rita says simple.
Specific.
Hey, let's
But
take
must
it.
be smart.
Eh?
It must be smart. We agree. So the S should stand for what? S cannot be smart.
Specific.
Simple or specific?
Specific.
Specific.
Oh, yes. Yes. Okay. Specific. It's not simple. Okay.
No.
Okay. All right. Please, oh, it is specific. That's what you have been saying so far. So you write it somewhere specific. Don't go write simple in the exams. Well, if you write it, you can put into bracket. please, I beg. There's this exam script I marked sometime. The person was writing only unnecessary things. And then at the end of the day, he put into brackets, I think on the last page, he said, please, I beg you, this is my last chance of writing these exams. If I don't pass, my husband will divorce me. What do you think I will do? I pass it. You see. So if you write simple, just write into bracket. If I don't pass, just write my husband. Say my husband, or if you go and say my wife will leave me, I'm a man. That one I will fail you for a wife to leave you. So that at least there can be a lot more in the market. But if you say your husband, you pass. So specific. The objective, like we said, must have clear specificity so that then we're able to measure the outcomes. And I've preempted what M is. What is M?
Measurable.
Yay. Okay, good. No into bracket. Okay, measurable. You're supposed to ensure that you are able to measure. The objectives are not vague. Your objectives should be measurable. You want to achieve profit as an organization. What do you mean by profit? Don't tell us you want profit. Tell us you want 20% profit. Or I want to break even. I want 1% profit. I want 20% return on equity. I want 10% return on assets. Those are real things. I think someone is unmuted. So just know if you are not muted, just know that if you are talking to your husband, will listen. Now, that objective must be measurable in a way that when the organization says 20% profit, at the end of the day, when you don't achieve it, and you achieve 15% profit, you are like, oh, okay. Then there's more room for improvement. Let me say you want to make profit. Any profit is profit. So if you make even 1% profit, you will rejoice because you have not set a measurable standard. That is why it's better to put the numbers to it, to make it measurable. And I've said in some accounting terms, return on asset, return on equity, return on sales, there's a way we are able to project in those terms. Now the A is what?
Achievable.
Hey, people have gotten some apport somewhere. Some apport is somewhere. Okay.
No, not at all.
Not at all. Okay. The A is achievable or attainable. Look, as for objectives, it's not vision where you can say you want to be this. So set things that you can achieve. I recall when I was going to write BEC, commerce. I knew my standing. So quickly, when my dad asked, what will you get? I told me, it's between 5 and 6. And that's for why they will shock you. Commerce, I had 3. And social studies and RM in my area. They gave me 5 and 6. They gave me, I didn't get it. They gave me 5 and 6. Now, when I added two of my grades, I was in double digits. 2 of my grades. And I have a twin brother, Achu. He added all the 6 and had a grade 9. I added only 2. And I'm at a double digit. Can you imagine? You see, that's why I'm here with you this morning. Okay. So at the end of the day, yes, Augustina. Okay. At the end of the day, you would just have to ensure that you set attainable objectives. I knew where I stood in the scheme of things. So I don't lie. The mass, I'm not understanding. And so I say 5 or 6. Now, it was a bit flickering, but can I be heard?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Most grateful. Not grateful. So once you have attained the objective, it has a way of urging you to do more because the objectives have been attained. That is better. Now, how about the R? Yes, open the Apple book and tell me R. R is what?
Relevance.
Relevant.
Hmm.
Realistic.
Is it realistic or relevant?
Relevance.
Relevant.
Okay.
Realistic.
Realistic. Okay. It is any of them. That one is any of them. So anyone you write is correct. But as for S, symbol is not part. I beg you. But as for R, relevant, relevant, or realistic. And this means that you need to be true to yourself. And we mentioned the attainability bit. It's something that you should be able to attain. And pursuit, I think there's someone muted. So kindly check if you're unmuted. In pursuit of that, you need to be real with yourself, and like I've explained, so that you can attain. So realistic and attainability will move together. Now, how about relevance? Your objectives must be relevant to the goal. You don't go around chasing after the shadows. You wish to grow your business. And in the terms of, say, a business that is at the introductory stage of the business life cycle, you are just new in the market, you need to make or have objectives that are relevant to the space. You are selling coconuts. Let your objectives guide the pursuit of selling coconut. Don't be setting objectives that are hugely irrelevant to the matter in question. It's like as a lawyer, I don't know if you know Atai. Atai, he was one of the notorious thieves in Ghana, but he's now an evangelist. In fact, he's my papa. And so Atari, when he was being processed in court, I hear he has some beats that could make him vanish. When he's caught by the police, the beats, he has some beats. When he touches the beats, he will vanish. Now, as a lawyer, that does not mean anything to us. It's not part of the information we need in court. The question is, did he steal your item or not? Well, you should come and see what the police were displaying in court. And he has a bead, and look at the beads. The beads, when you touch it, you vanish. How, if you touch a bead and you vanish, how is that relevant to whether or not he stole your item? But you should see the judge. Now the judge is looking at the beads, irrelevant things, and thinking, hey, so this bead, when I touch it, will also vanish. Everyone's attention is, hey, Atari. So when we touch the beads, will we vanish? While the question before the court is, did he steal or did he not steal? So when you are setting objectives, it's not about irrelevant things. Set things, objectives that are relevant to the cause. And so be it. Now the T, as for the T, you can guess. The T is what?
Time bound.
Beyond time bound, I heard another one. Is it timeliness?
Nah.
Great. That's okay. Both are good. It must be time bound. Time bound. I recall when I was in school. I said, oh, I told you, if you're an accountant, you get a lot of money. Hey, I was learning the accounting. I said, oh God, I'll buy a big car. And when I see the lecturers driving the Toyota Subaru Corolla and the rest, I'll be laughing when they've not succeeded. As for me teaching there, I don't like at all. I'm going to practice accounting. So I said, by the time I'm done with school, 3 years time, I should be driving the big car, big pickup. At the time, Tundra was the order of the day. Some big car, Tundra. I said, oh, I'll buy a Tundra. As a chartered accountant. 3 years after school. Ah, Master. I'm 10 years post first degree. I'm still driving some small car. You see, my I don't know if I can be heard now.
Yeah, you can.
Yes,
Yes.
please.
Very well. So I said, hey, boat driver, stop. Me, boat driver, stop. Hey, my own private car. So you realize that I have set the time 3 years, I'll buy Tundra. I'm 10 years, but I'm driving the small boat car. Okay. So look, everything else must have some time. We are bound by the time. Set the time limits to the achieving of the goals, and in the business is relevant. So remember that your objectives must be smart. Now, let's go to the next plan, which is your strategy. So remember, we have done your vision, where you want to be, it's a plan. Your mission, why you exist, it's a plan. You've done your objectives, the little inroads, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, or realistic, and time-bound goals that you set in pursuit of your mission. The next is strategies. Obviously, strategy is a plan. And it is a way of surviving in a competitive environment. And colleagues, you know for a fact that it takes strategy to achieve a lot of the goals you may be intending to. Because as for the talents, we may all have the same talents. When I was in law school, I asked myself, hey, so all these lawyers who will call me as a lawyer to do the job, all these lawyers, these are even my classmates, how will I get a job to do? But it takes strategy to be able to get into the market and make sense out of your space. And then you can live peacefully. Strategy is what is relevant in a competitive environment. Once there's competition, you only need strategy to grow, and as it relates to the organization. Always, we've argued that in the space of an organization, there is a lot of competition. Your business has a lot of competitors. And so, once you fail at strategizing, your business is bound to fail. Now, strategy could have some important activities that we do in terms of ensuring that the business remains competitive. In strategy is born out of competition. It is born to become competitive in the market, and the activities in its formulation stage, at least as environmental appraisal and corporate appraisal. What do you do in environmental appraisal to ensure that you've got your strategies right? And environmental appraisal, please, it's not just about the ecological environment. Environmental appraisal is to know the threats and opportunities in the environment. And how do you know the threats and opportunities in the environment, especially the external environment? You need to know what is happening in politics, in law, the economics, social and cultural factors, and in strategy. And I'm sure I'll take you for strategic management if I am alive. You would recognize that these are things we call pestle factors or pestle analysis. You use these things to monitor the external environment. So in coming out with your strategy, you need to monitor what is happening in politics, because you're in Ghana when banks were collapsed by virtue of a change in party. I don't know if were you in Ghana and were you of sound mind when some banks collapsed under a political regime? What are some of the banks?
GN Bank.
GN Bank, was the owner a politician?
Yes.
Yeah, Papa
Yes.
Kwesi.
That is so. Which other bank?
UT.
UT Bank, was the owner a politician?
Yeah.
Yes or no? Or you can't tell?
Yeah.
No, no.
Yeah,
He
go be
was.
a politician. You don't joke. Some people are not frontline politicians, but don't joke. In politics, we have a lot of layers. We have financiers. We have people who show their face and those who don't show their face. And you should see me on TV doing some analysis. But I know where I stand. Where do you think I stand? Don't mention it. And so banks were collapsed because of a change in government. So the political space, if you want to strategize, or you must be watching. If you are so partisan as an institution, they'll collapse you. These are the strategies you need. So there are some businesses who play left and they play right. NDC, they support. MPP, they support. For those ones, it is their strategy. Hopefully, they don't come hard at you, but you are always in the space. There are businessmen also who have survived both terrains. NDC, they get contracts. MPP time, they get contracts. Those are strategies, and you can only know it by monitoring the political environment. Same for the economic, social, and cultural factors. We'll look at that in strategic management in detail. The second thing you do under the strategy to ensure that you have the right strategy to compete is to now look inward. That's the corporate appraiser. The environmental appraiser, you're looking outside. The corporate appraiser, you look inward for your strengths and weaknesses. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? You need to look inward. And in the business, you need to be frank with yourself as to what consists your strengths and that which consists your weaknesses. There are clear lines. You ought to be frank with what you can do and what you cannot do. And every person has a limitation. As I sit before you, I have huge limitations as my weaknesses. But if you ask me now, I may not say it, but I have weaknesses. But that's for one, you know, the one that made me stop my pastoral journey, you know. And so those are clear weaknesses that I, in the company of the gentleman here, we face. Okay, so the point is that as an institution, you need to look inward. And the important words I want you to look at. Environmental appraisal, you are trying to gather information towards gathering your threats and opportunities. Remember that. But the internal appraisal or the corporate appraisal, you are gearing towards knowing your strengths and weaknesses. So whereas strengths and weaknesses are gotten from corporate appraisal, threats and opportunities are gotten from environmental appraisal. Note that at least on section A questions. Not so. Section A. My uncle will tell you we don't go to school to understand. We go to school to pass. And so we know the difference. And so these are three objectives. Okay. Now, having said that, let us move to the next plan. And recall the chart. This is the chart. Vision, mission, objectives, strategies, now operational plans. That's where we are. Operational plans. Operational plans. It is also gotten from the strategy. The means through which you implement the strategy. It's what we call the operational plan, the actual work in action. The actual work is gotten from the strategy. And these are of two main types. We have standing plans and we have single-use plans. Remember that operational plans comes as the last bit of your type of planning. And they could exist in two forms, standing plans or single-use plans. What are standing plans as it relates to operational plans? And remember, operational plans are putting the strategy in motion or implementing the strategy. Plans to meet the ends of strategy. And we are saying there are twofold, standing plans and single-use plans in an organization. There are situations that often recur. We will get inputs at all. By all means, we will take inputs from the supplier. By all means, we'll process the inputs. By all means, we'll come out with a product. And by all means, we will have to have our marketing effort, send the product out there. And by all means, customers must purchase it. That's the line. Those planning for the value chain normally require standing plans. It cannot shock you when we say that you write your quiz, you write exams. As a student, will you be shocked? You will not be shocked. If we say you write quiz and exam, or you have an assignment, you should not be shocked. As for me, the thing I hate in going to school is assignment. That is why ever since I came on the other side, I like assignment. Hey, I hate assignment. When the lecturer mentions assignments, I just go blank. So as I came to the other side, I know students don't like it. So I push more. Yes, because I'm now on the other side. You also suffer when you also cross, and you also give more assignments. And I know that you are teachers. So you also do more assignments to your students. We don't like it, okay? So like I said today, I'll give assignment because I know you will not be happy with it. And that is why I'll give it. So as a student, you know you will do assignments. You know you write quizzes. You know you write exams. So imagine that you're a student, they say, oh, come and write exams. Say, do we write exams? How can you say that? Everyone think that you are an in-law. We say you are not compose mentis. You are non-compose mentis. Everyone say this guy is something wrong with it. Exams as a student, you say you don't write. So imagine telling your boyfriend or girlfriend, my dear, they said that we should write exams. Can you imagine? This is our program that we are doing. We are going to school. They say we should write exams, we should do assignments, we should do quizzes. Your spouse will just look at them and say, is everything okay? Because in the organization, there are things that are standard. You take inputs, process it, bring outputs. Those things are things that are stagnant. And so, standing plans cater for them because the word is they recur often. They recur often. So you can plan towards that. What are some of the types of standard plans that we can have in the organization? Standard plans, because for things that recur, we have policies. Policies, GES policy. So you write some guide, okay? In our institution, this is what we are guided by. It's an overall guide that sets our boundary, limits, and also direction. So any organization has a policy document. A policy document, overall guideline, in ensuring that the vision is achieved. These are standing plans. So if you come to UCC, and as a student, and as we are all students now, we have the policy guide of UCC. It's a guideline. As a UCC student, and may I tell you, you know that in UCC, as part of the policy, when you are going out and you are a regular student, you need ESIAT. UCC part, ESIAT. Anyway, they say when you go without ESIAT, and you die, don't buy your coffee. I'm like, is that the punishment? Okay, so policies normally serve as overall guides. They set up boundaries for everyone to obey or abide. It creates the direction that you need in order to survive in the space. Those are policies, but they are standing plans. They guide the organization into the foreseeable future. And again, procedures. Remember the chart. Policies, procedures, methods, and rules. They are outstanding plans because these things recur. So you need to plan for them. Procedures. How do we undertake a certain job in the organization? That's a procedure. Means by which the guidelines are broken down and carried out. So our policy as an organization is that Customers must be happy. We want to reach the height of customer happiness. What is our procedure? You need to find a nice lady who is warm enough to be smiling at the door. And if you visit the Zenith Bank, Cape Coast, UCC, I invite the gentleman to come. Cape Coast, Zenith Bank, UCC, there's some nice lady. I don't know whether in 2026 they'll retain her. Hey, so beautiful when you get there. Oh, Jesus Christ. Should engage you. She would have conversations. So every time I go there, so some days I'm not going to even withdraw any money. I'll just go there and say, is the ATM working? And you should see her when she sees you. Hey, my dear. Hey, my love, are you in? Oh, how? And look, you feel so special. So sometimes my wife is annoying me. I tell her I'm going to send it back. I go there and the procedure she uses. And sometimes I think it's only for me. But look, she does it to all men. All men. The first day she did it, I thought it was only me. I nearly took her number. Then she went to another man. I said, this one is a procedure in the organization. It's not that she likes me. Yeah, so I didn't take the number. So I just go there to ensure that I encourage her in the procedure she's doing. I'm not taking the number because this one, it is work she's doing. So you see, the detail, how to bring the lady to come and smile at us when we enter the bank is the procedure. So the policy is ensure customer happiness. The practical grounds is to have a beautiful lady seated in front, smiling. Beautiful. I went to a restaurant sometime, and the people who are serving, the waitress. You see, we are even saying waitress. Waitress is what we know. The waiter. Can you imagine a gentleman serving us food? I was in Kumasi to go and teach. Having to attend to a restaurant, then a gentleman, a man with muscles, and he has ties some smarty on his waist. A gentleman, what do you want? And you see him, I say, look at this. All this customer dissatisfaction. I was dissatisfied. The food was nice. So I didn't give him anything. You know, when you go to a restaurant, you put something small. When I finished, I gave him some 100 cedis. He was looking at me to keep the change. I said, keep with change. Please, bring my change. I'm going. So you see, the point is that once you have policies, the implementable detail as to how the processes and procedures should be undertaken is what we would call here procedures, the means of achieving such guidelines. Now, methods. Using procedures, methods. And here's where the distinction should be strong. Now you know the procedure to be the implementable steps. Methods is the most prescribed way of undertaking to do one step in the procedure. So listen, the policy is broad, and then you have your procedure, and we said our procedure, the policy is customer happiness. The procedure is that get a nice girl who will be smiling at the door when we enter. The method is the prescribed way one aspect is done. So for example, the smiling. How do you smile? There are a lot of smiles that exist. The prescribed way in which smiling is one step of the procedure. One step of the procedure. How do you smile? Do you smile with all your teeth? Do you smile and add pecs like the one at Zenith Bank? When you are leaving, mwah, I say, hey, it's not easy for me. She's making me divorce my wife. So the method, one step, how one step in the procedure is done. When we say that our general policy is customer happiness, and the procedure is that gets a lady to sit in front to welcome entrance. One procedure is how do we smile? When we solve that, how do you dress? There's a method. How do you dress? Do we all wear white? In wearing the white, which kind of white? Those are clear, specified methods in achieving the procedure. Because overall, your policy is just a general guideline. The procedure gives us the steps, and each step of the way, there are methods in achieving them. I hope that is clear. So kindly note, these are clear objective questions. Policies, general guideline, underneath you draw your procedures. Under your procedures, each step of the way, you need methods. I'll not belabor the point on that. Then, finally, rules. Rules. Underneath the whole planning efforts, standing plans. And if I should show you the graph, or is it the point, the types of plans you have, policies, we've looked at it, overall guideline, procedures, the basic steps in the way, methods, each step, how to achieve each step is the methodology. Now the fourth is rules. What do we do at the rule stage? Here, there are clearly instructions. Clear instructions. Now, the difference here is that for rules, when you breach them, it is punishable. You don't guess. Rules, you don't think, should I obey? No. Rule is the strictest form of your plans. Rules, they are do's and don'ts. When you breach it, it is punishable. So the enforceable part of your standing plans are your rules. Methods, you can have some way to think about it. The procedure, there's some way you can go around it and add some creativity, but you cannot be creative with the law. I don't know if you have heard of Ebonoa. He's now hot. You don't joke in Ghana. A country run by laws. You tell us you are standing by a canoe. You tell us that you are building Noah's Ark. And that day it rained. Those who were in Kumasi on 25th of this year, it rained. When it started raining, by morning there was a lady in my room. By the time it started raining, I said, you can go, because I knew that the end is near. And I knew I wanted to go to it. So I told her, I said, hey, now that it's raining, why are you sacking me? I said, you please, I'm coming. I'll call you tomorrow. Because if I don't go today, we can continue tomorrow. Okay, so I budgeted there for 26. That day it was raining, 26 in Kumasi. It's rained. And can you imagine Kumasi? It hardly rains, okay? So it's raining in Kumasi. It means that Noah's Ark is real. Only to realize that he is rather at a function, dancing. The police have gotten hold of him. I pray he gets a lawyer that is good enough to make him survive this. Otherwise, he'll be in big trouble, or he is in big trouble. You see, these are rules. You don't think through the rules. When you're spreading false news, you're spreading false news. We don't care whether and people say it's creating content. Creating content. What do you mean by content creation? So can I go and steal and come and put it online? And say I'm creating content. Then I'm taking people's phones, so I'm creating content. Look, what is illegal is illegal. And that's how rules operate. Rules are strict. You either obey, or if disobedience has consequences. All right. So having said so, rules becomes the basic enforceable unit in your standing plans. May I refresh your memories as I proceed to the next? Please, remember we said operational plans have two components: standing plans and single-use plans. Remember that. And that's the standing plans are the ones we have looked at. They are for things that recur in the organization: policies, procedures, methods, rules. We are done with that. So the next important thing is to look at the single-use plans. What are they? Now, these are plans that are developed to achieve a specific end. And when that end is achieved, that is all. You plan to achieve a certain end. So the organization, we see that, oh, okay, We are producing coconuts. That's our mainstay, coconuts. But then we realize that given the weather, banana is in season, and we can get some bananas, right? Though our mainstay is coconuts all year through. But it looks like banana is in season, and where we are located is strategic. So okay, let's engage in some banana juice. Let's engage in the sale of banana. Or let's do some banana juice. It reminds me of a high-profile meeting I went. You know, when you go for these meetings outside, we pretend, fork and knife with glass. The glasses, they are like 5 different types. For each person, 5 glasses. One is for wine, one is for juice, one is for water, one is for tasting a certain new. Hey, me too, I'm from water region. I've not seen it before. When they started, they gave us some juice, banana juice, Don Simon. I took one of the glass. I was about to pour it. The waitress, hey, gentlemen, please. That's for the wine. I said, hey. So I took the other one. I said, hey, that's for water. Me. I didn't drink the Don Simon again. I just left it. So she came back to me. Gentlemen, won't you take anything? I said, please. When we go. Me when I'm home, I drink the Don Simon from the package. One glass, I'll pour it inside to look a bit, gentleman. This is tea. This is water. What should I do? And she will not give you the correct one too, as if she was tempting me. Can you imagine? I didn't drink the Don Simon. Now, all those who knew it were drinking it and happy. You know where I'm coming from. I couldn't drink it. Because we drink Asana and then Sobolo. Sobolo, we don't have Sobolo drink. Any cup for Sobolo. We take it normal. All right, so once you see that banana is in season, it's okay. Look, let me take hold of that market. So your mainstay is coconuts, but you want to sell bananas for say 1 month. You need a single-use plan because that's not something that you do ordinarily. That single-use plan would have programs and budgets. Let's look at them. Those plans will have programs, precise plans in order to discharge that task. So your program would have all the things that you need to achieve that plan. You see, because it is a single-use plan, that program would have objectives in there, will have policies, procedures, and all of that. They'll have it in there, but we call it a program. Remember, because they are single-use, they are programs. But embedded in the program, you see some objectives and policies and all, but it is just to sell the banana. Nothing more. When we are done, we discard it. And also, you have to attach a budget to it. And by budgeting, we mean having resources, be they time resources or financial resources, to ensure that you achieve that single-use plan. Remember, you can only have budgets and programs under single-use plans because these are one-off things. You can only have programs or budgets, so be it. Under single-use plans, you have programs or budgets. You cannot have anything more than that. Kindly note. On that note, I'm sure that the rest are just issues of normal nomenclature, what planning is and why it is important and at its level. Now, let me introduce you to one last thing, and then we should be done with the first part. But may I also say, just so that I put that on record, that when we were learning the roles of management, you recall we said we have, in fact, the levels, we have strategic level, tactical level, and operational level. All of these levels also have their plans. And that's what has been discussed in here. So when you get the slides, you should see. Every level has the kind of planning they do, and those at the top, they plan more than those beneath. All right. I'll end by stating some of the limitations of planning. Look, planning is not an easy process. It requires, I recall when we started, it's an intellectual process. So it is time consuming and expensive. Planning takes a lot of time. And sometimes you can plan all you care. Things will change in the environment and it will render your plan, and in law we say otious. It renders your plan impracticable. Remember, can you imagine those who said they'll get married and do Kiss Your Bride in 2019 when they were projecting it to 2020? Oh, I'll get married in 2020, Kiss Your Bride, and I want 1,000 people to attend the church and all. Do you know what happened in 2020? That could have affected that plan.
Coronavirus.
That's the long name, coronavirus. The short name is COVID-19. And so you come and Kiss Who's Bride. Hey, I recall the COVID time. All the advances I had from ladies, I said, hey, I beg you, please. This one too. Eh? They say, hey, I miss you. I said, hey, please. Don't touch. They say we shouldn't touch anybody. You miss me. What do you mean? You want me to die? I recall when it was declared by the president that we should stay home, I caught a cold. I had some bad cold. Oh God, I thought I would die. Now you should see me when I'm walking out. I said, oh, so this is the last day I'll see the sun. This is the last day I'll see the moon. Oh, but you see, and I lived a very righteous life for 1 week. Then the cold left. I knew that I'm out. So I started my business again. Okay, so that ends it for planning. Planning can be overtaken by the environment. The environment changes. And so when you plan, it can render your plan impracticable. On that note, that's the first function of environs management. You plan. The point is that when you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Planning is a daunting task, which is an intellectual process. When you do it, it has its benefits. It also has its cost. But it operates in types. You have your vision, your mission, your objectives, your strategies, and finally, operational plans. These are the types of plans in its various manifestations as we have seen. Please, this is the end of the conversation. Are there any questions for the first part? Then we'll move to the second. Any questions for the first part? Okay, if there are none, colleagues, it's 8:17 by my time. I'll come back at 8:27 to take the next managerial function. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Pleasure. All right. Welcome back. I
Thank
hope
you,
I
sir.
can. Okay, great, great, great. I can be heard. All right. So we'll start. All right. I didn't know I was muted and I was busily talking. So who even heard me? All right. Let's proceed. Now, I've already said that Henry Fayol says there are four functions of management. We looked at the first, which we say is the primal one, the foundation for which all other functions will be spared. The next is organizing. And it is the Americans who say that don't show me your plans, show me your budget. Americans, they say, don't tell me your plans. Show me your budget. Because when they know your budget, when they see the budget, they're able to tell which of your plans you take seriously. It's like Ghana. We'll build 10, 100 schools. Agenda this. Agenda this. Plenty agenda. When you go and read the budget, there is nothing in it that supports it. Not even a one-line item to support that. So organizing essentially is taking steps within the space of your plan to ensure that you allocate resources to the plan. Once you want to become the overall best student, what are the resources you need? You need a book, you need a pen, you need your faculty, your mental faculty. You need it. You need to allocate you don't need to, if you are young, you don't need to have a girlfriend or boyfriend. Those are important issues. You allocate resources in the right way. That's organizing. Essentially, the allocation of resources. So, you can say all the plans you have, but if you don't have the resources attached to those plans, it will fail. You have planned, but look, organizing shows us the efforts at allocating resources. People ask me, why is it that you're always watching TV? I said, I'm a politician. What should I be doing? In the olden days, when you watch TV, they will say, oh, you are not serious. I recount my mom. Immediately, Miss Bell comes to the floor. Miss Bell start twisting her waist on Saturday. My mom will say, it's okay, Achu, Eche, it is time to sleep. We've watched talking points, and now we are music. Miss Bell has just come on stage, and it is time for us to sleep. Can you imagine? And so, once you have your plans, your ability to allocate resources is key. So I watch TV because I'm a politician. My resource is the television. How would I know what is happening? But someone else's plan is to become a poet. So his resource is his books. You on the screen now, some of you lying down, some are in the market buying onions and even bargaining. Your plan is to pass this course and all other courses. So what resources have you allocated to meet that end? It is an important question. So whereas planning will tell you what to do, how to go about doing that is organizing. Now look, organizing is different from organization. Organization is the final social group you build to achieve some goal. But organizing is the assignment of resources. So organization is that social group at the end of the day. The bank is an organization. But organizing is a process of ensuring that you identify, classify, group, assign activities, resources, authority, and relationships all across the organization. Look, what are some of the principles you need when you're organizing? You don't just organize in abeyance. There are rules. You make sure that one person responds to one superior. We call it line of authority. Line of authority. Can you imagine you're at the workplace and one supervisor says this, another one says, which one will you obey? Which one will you obey? It's like when you are doing your PhD or even masters in UCC. They give you two supervisors. One will say, it is your introduction is too good. Hey, you're a good researcher. Oh, you complete the work in 2 years. You can write well. You go to that supervisor. He says, hey, are you now learning how to write? How can I present this thing as your introduction? Go and change it and read further materials. Otherwise, you will fail. You stay on this program for 8 years. That's what you'll be tossed and tossed and tossed. Two superiors. What will you do? So sometimes the student is frustrated as to which of the powers to obey. So now you'll be asking yourself, okay, which one is a professor and which one is a doctor? It's okay. Between professor and doctor, there, let me obey professor. If they are professors, okay, which one is a full professor and which one is associate professor? That's the job they will leave you to be doing instead of doing the work. So the rule in organization is that, look, let one person be responsible, one superior to a group of persons. Each person should know that this is my superior in the organization. So be it. We don't want two superiors controlling one person in the organization. And again, once you delegate work, and we'll look at delegation as part of the concepts or the principles of organization, make sure that you give authority that matches the work given. As I am here before you, I'm sure the College of Distance Education has given me the power to give assignments, has given me the power to also ensure that you understand. But you see, the power to set quizzes and to set exams lies elsewhere. In the Good Professor, the book I've asked that you purchase, Professor Abraham Manson, they have the power to set quizzes and exams. I have no such power because as I interface with you to teach and ensure that you have an assessment in the form of an assignment. So be it. My job ends when that is done. You go in and write your quizzes and you take your exam. But my job effectively has ended. So that authority that has been given to me is within the confines within which I exercise. And having said that, I cannot now, under the guise of teaching, come and be calling the ladies in the class, hey, how are you? Hey, today the hey, when I was talking class, you didn't answer any question. How are you? Are you sure you are well? Is that part of my job? That I'll come and be calling the ladies in the class? It will be a meaningless effort because authority must match the job. So anything you do outside, you have exceeded your boundary. And in law, there's a word we use. I don't know whether you guys have come across it. When you exceed your boundary, how do you call it? Maybe you know some law better than me. How do you call it? When you exceed the boundary of the operations, you have acted what?
Ultra.
Oh, you are lawyers too? Yay! Wow. I'll tell professor that this class, if he sets simple questions, they will disgrace him with AO. So he should make it a bit tough, so that at least they can honor him with some CCCCC. Yeah? You guys are good. You guys are good. You guys are good. You would have acted ultra-virus. Because once you have the authority, you have to operate within the limits of the authority. Anything else you do, you have acted ultra-virus. Brilliant. And again, look, the person given the job to do must have some control. And the span of control must be within the confines of some small number of people. Your span, at least you should know that, okay, when I go to MTN Kasua branch, I'm the first line manager in the MTN Kasua branch. I control 10 workers. This is your span. So be it. We should be meticulous about how we organize within the space. And also make sure that once you put people in capacities in terms of organization, let them specialize. Let them do one thing over and over and over again until they benefit from specialization. That's the goal of organizing. You benefit from specialization once you are doing the thing over and over and over and over again. I've been teaching in the university for the past 10 years. I have been teaching, so I should know how to teach by now. And 20 years from now, though I will not remain as a teacher, but I told you I'll be president, so that must be on record. But imagine that I fail at it and I come back to teaching. I should, in 20 years, I should teach better than what I am doing today, because I'll benefit from specialization. I should be able to close my eyes and teach the courses, because I've been teaching it for the past years. And that specialization. So you realize that, and you are teachers, you would even know that once you teach a topic so much, now it looks like you know it too well. You start opening the door of creativity to invite for more angles to enrich your knowledge. That's the benefit of specialization. Very beneficial. It may look mundane. Sometimes it becomes boring. So I'm coming to, I recall when the alarm went off. I'm coming to wake up and say planning. I've been teaching planning for so many years. Today to teach planning. It becomes mundane, but it makes you specialize in the area. I'm sure when President Mahama wants someone to manage the economy, he may look with favor upon me. He may say, oh, my son, Eche, proceed to manage the economy. I may get some small office, a Flagstaff house. After all, I will also be in government. So you see, the point is made that once you organize, you benefit from specialization. Because the person is placed at a point where he does repetitive work. And also, the hierarchy within the space, the bureaucracy, limit the bureaucracy. When you go to the public service, it's based on bureaucracy. And we looked at scientific management and how it evolved, the bureaucratic managers. Reduce it in organizing. If some words can be merged, let them merge. There's a secretary in charge of typing, secretary in charge of printing, secretary in charge of photocopying. If you go to the civil service, all these secretaries, what they end up doing? Nothing. So just because one person will be doing the whole work. I recall, and it is worse. You think Ghana is better? I went to Gambia. Hey, Gambia, please. The secretary is there. When you go, there's some tea bread they eat. Tea bread, long tea bread. And the bread is only in Gambia. I realize the bread is the base. Okay, when they cut it, in Ghana, when we have bread and we cut it, you can have margarine, right? You have margarine, You have maybe some who are just so a bit, those who engage in food tourism may add some salad and okay, and that becomes sandwich. In Gambia, hey, please, oh, the bread is the base. When they cut it open, they can put beans in the bread. Beans, they can put wache in the bread. They can put rice in the bread. I was shocked when I saw it. So I was asking, so is the bread a plate? Is it plate you are holding, or do you eat the bread or it's a bowl? Everything is bread. Tea bread, the long one. I was shocked. But anyway, when you go to their public service, work start at 9. 9 o'clock, you see them with the long tea bread coming to sit down, long. And when you they say wait, they need to eat before. I say, hey, Master, aren't you starting your work at 9 a.m.? They say, yeah, 9 a.m. is the reporting time for workers. So when the workers report, then the eating time starts. So they start around 11. Can you imagine? And they also close at 2. So Ghana is better. I went to Gambia and realized that, look, with great respect, Ghana, we are far advanced. But it doesn't mean that we should be complicit. But Ghana, we are gone. We are gone. But anyhow, you don't need a lot of breakers. So something like that, say you come at 9 and start work at 11 because eating tea bread with fried rice in the middle. Someone like that. You need to remove the person from the space of work because you duplicate efforts in the organization. Now, having said that, let me introduce you to some 3 schools of thought as it relates to types of organizations. Remember that organizing may end up you having, if you do it very well, you end up having an organization. If your organizing efforts end well, you end up having an organization. Now, there are 3 schools of thoughts that have written on how organizations should look like. And I explain them in brief. There's one who says that an organization is a closed system, which is that there are employees, there are managers, there are workers in the space, and they operate within the internal environment without any interaction with the external environment. How can that be possible? That we are working in a closed circle without interaction with the external environment. At the very least, your product will go out there. So this really is impracticable. The other school of thought is that, look, we run an open system. An organization, you may have it on its face. This is a bank, say Fidelity Bank. Yes, they may have an environment within which they operate, but they interact continuously with the external environment. That's an open system. And so, whereas the first class of people in terms of organization thinks that the organization is a system, it's a closed system where people exhibit based on the internal environment without interaction with the external environment. The open system says no. We interact with the environment. And so anything we do must be beneficial to both those inside and those outward. So these 2 levels of thoughts, which one is practicable? Which one of them makes a lot more sense in our space? Is it the open system? The open system. Yes, because the organization is continually interacting with the environment. So care must be taken. But most of the fall of businesses are not even internal. They are based on externalities than there are internal qualms. Again, in terms of organization, you may have a formal or informal organization. And of course, as for formal, normally in the workspaces, very formal. Head, CEO, CFO, and all of those people, when it comes to managers, managing director, is formal under strict authority. But as for informal organizations, it's like your WhatsApp group, and all student WhatsApp group. You'll be there. My JHS page. I didn't left. Me that I become a responsible man like this. You'll be there and then they'll start scaring you. Throwback time. Before you see, they bring you wearing some old baggy jeans at the time when you were very poor. And you come and put it there. Then somehow you're even chatting with some lady on the class page. And who knows your present but cannot remember your past. Then they'll come and put you there. It spoils everything. But that's an informal group. It's just a social network, no authority. But for a formal workspace or a formal organization, there's strict authority. We are all working together towards a common purpose, and there is strict authority. So remember, we are still seeing how we allocate resources in the space. We are organizing. You said that the end product of a successful organizing effort lands us into an organization. So at the very height of the efforts as organizing is organization. And we've asked ourselves, is it a closed system or is it an open system? We've agreed that organizations are open systems because they continually interact with the environment. Now let's look at how we structure organizations. In structuring organizations, there's always in your mind hierarchy, activity, authority. How do we assign hierarchies? Where should activities be? Which authority should match it? What relationships should we have? So that once a person enters the organization as an employee, he knows that, okay, this is my boss. This is my next boss. This boss, this is his boss. We're able to tell. It's in a chart. I don't know if you've seen an organizational chart, but if you go to UCC Hospital, you see it imprinted on its walls, the chart. You see those in charge. So you are clear in your mind as to the structure. As a manager, as you are managerial experts, as you are becoming, anytime you are asked to structure an organization, think hierarchy, activity, and authority. And finally, draw that relationship that would make a lot of practical sense as to how to run the enterprise. Because when you don't draw it well, so well, you would have a lot of trouble within the space of the organization. We'll look at how to draw it in a way that would function well. In structuring, there's what we call departmentation. In structuring the organization, there's what we call departmentation, where you can organize your activities. Okay, so in structuring, you have what we call departmentation, where you organize your activities. And let me introduce you to a bit of them. You can organize based on functions or divisions. It could be hybrid or matrix. Let's take them one by one. Organizing in terms of functions in the organization. Organizing in terms of functions people play in the organization. This is the chart. If you can look on your screen, there's a chart. You see the CEO, Chief Executive Officer. Then you have the Marketing Officer. Underneath it, he's in charge of sales and all of that. Then there is another sales officer. He's in charge of marketing and services. Then there is a service officer in charge of marketing, sales, and services. They are structured. So this may be a purely service-related enterprise, clearly based on their functions. So there, when they give you a role, you know what you're going to do. So in organizations, you hear sales manager, finance manager. They are structured according to functional lines. Procurement officer, when it comes to UCC, the CEO is what? UCC, who is the CEO? Which function is the CEO?
Vice Chancellor.
Yes, Vice Chancellor. Great. Do you know we have a Chancellor?
Yes,
Who is the Chancellor?
the president.
Doctor, Doctor, let me hear you.
I said the
Is
president.
it Sam Jonah?
Sam Jonah.
Yeah.
Yes, it's Sam Jonah. If the president is the chancellor, it means that always when government changes, we need to change the chancellor. So it is Dr. said Sam Jonah. He's the chancellor. Then we have the chair of the board. I don't know if you know the current chair of the board. Those in NDC will know it. Do you know the chair of the board? Okay, that's Justice Atukuba. I don't know if you've heard of Justice Atukuba. Yes, he was a former Supreme Court judge.
Hey, do you know him?
You know him, eh?
Yes.
Yes. He's a chair. So when you go into that meeting, you don't joke. Oh. Swear. The power is playing there. You don't joke at all. Because he is a judge of the Supreme Court. And once a while, an acting Chief Justice, and also the head of the election petition of Ghana, the first election petition. He was the presiding judge. When you go there, you bow. Hey, my Lord, when he talks, oh, my Lord, when he enters the room, you all stand up. Hey, man, you stand up. Who are you to sit down? My Lord has entered, as if you're in court. But me, when I enter, even they don't give me water. The gentleman, go and sit at the back. Hey, Charlie, monkeys play by size. But in the home, when I come home, my wife also says, hey, children, daddy has come, leave the room. You know, that's where we also cancel check. Okay, so everywhere where you be your master. So in functional areas, you will hear marketing, sales, services, CEO. They structure the organization based on functions. So when you are structuring the organization, think of the functions. That's one way of structuring the organization. The second is departmentation, which is by divisions. And divisions can come in a lot of forms. Divisions can be by virtue of your product departmentation. Remember, let me show you we have functional, divisional, hybrid matrix. The divisional can be by product departmentation. So when you have an organization which is huge, say Unilever, you see that they can now break the products into various departments. All right. So, for example, you can be a manager for Cowbell Coffee. Only Cowbell Coffee. Yeah. Manager. You say, which manager are you? I'm a manager for Cowbell Coffee. Okay. Oh, I'm a manager for Nutri Snacks. Because they are departmentalizing based on the products. Those are for huge organizations. Oh, I'm the Omo ambassador. Or I'm the aerial manager. Oh, close up. I'm the close up manager. Close up manager. Because these are by virtue of product departmentation. In that light, once the person comes before you, you know that, okay, this is the kind of departmentation that is done. So when you look at me now, I am the principles of management tutor. That is departmentation based on product. The kind of product I'm offering this morning is that I'm teaching what I know. You can project chemistry things here. Chemistry. CH, see whether I can even talk. CH tetraoxosulfate 6, tetraoxosulfate 7, chloride, me. I'll collapse on this platform. But once I come before you as the lecturer for principles of management, it makes sense that, look, we are departmentalizing based on the product. So after a year, you have other tutors or lecturers who take you based on their specific core subjects. So by virtue of that course, they have departmentalized based on the product. Elsewhere, I'll be a strategic management lecturer. Elsewhere, it may be ethics, it may be oil and gas, it may be energy. All right. So at the end of the day, your mind should be put to the fact that you can departmentalize based on product, but normally for huge organizations. Again, in terms of departmentation by divisions, you can have locations or territories. So when you are in the Pentecost church, you see Pentecost, Sunyani branch, Kumasi branch, Teshi branch, Cape Coast branch, with different names because of location or territory. They engage in territorial departmentation. Oh, so which branch? Oh, I'm at the Cape Coast branch. We are all in Pentecost, but I'm in the Cape Coast branch. That is departmentation by territory or location. And when you look at the governmental system, the ministers, regional ministers, have been the president engaging departmentation by territory or location. And remember that the ministers exercise the power of the president under Article 58 of the 1992 Constitution. All ministers don't have any power. Their power is drawn from the president. So your regional minister, he's acting for and on behalf of the president. They don't have power in themselves. Their power is emanating from the president. So we have Western North Regional Minister, Northern Regional Minister, Volta Regional Minister, Central Regional Minister, all those people. They have engaged, the president has engaged in territorial departmentation. All right. You can also engage in departmentation by time. Shift system, nurses. You come in the morning up until some time and someone comes to take over. In fact, in the restaurants, it's done. When I went to Kumasi, where I slept, one young lady was there. We arrived mid-afternoon. A nice lady, the way she welcomed me, oh Jesus. I even invited her to bring me water in chambers. And she came. He said, oh, Daddy, your water. I thought it was normal routine. In the evening, when the evening shift lady came, I thought it's the same enterprise. And by evening, you want to relax. So I came out. I was in the room. I don't know whatever forced me to come out. I came out. I said, hey, Ohima, I'm inside though. He said, And so I said, hey, I want water. He said, water is in the fridge. Go and take it. I said, hey, are you the security man or you are the one who is in charge of taking visitors? And she got annoyed. A woman speaking to me like that. A lawyer of my standing. But you see, she's the evening one. So I told her, look, I'll leave by morning. And by morning, when I was ready to leave, the morning one came. He said, hey, my love, how was your night? Then I stayed again. You see, so the point is, once there is departmentation, it can be done by time. You do in the morning, and someone comes in the afternoon. That is why the campaign, John Mohammed's campaign, and something that has not yet been delivered, I wish it is, he argued at the time of the campaign that there will be one work, 3 shifts. Some will come in the morning, some will come in the afternoon, and some will come in the evening. You may believe it or not. But what he sought to propagate is departmentation by time. Again, you can also have departmentation by your process or equipment. The process and equipment. So a huge organization, imagine that you are producing textile, wooden clothing. There's a place that would engage in the dyeing of it. There's a place that will engage in waxing, a place that will engage in weaving, a place that will engage in inspection, sewing, until you finally get your shirt. There's a place that will be branding within brand. So if you have organizations like that, you can also departmentalize based on their processes. So this can be weaving manager, waxing manager, dyeing manager, inspection manager, sewing manager, the showroom manager, branding manager, based on the processes involved in the work for huge organizations. So in that space, you have the department based on the kind of processes the organization undertakes. And these are normally for huge organizations. So in departmentation, you also think of that. Sometimes customers. Why not? Customers are of different nature. And so today we are in the world of Gen Z. And they are in a different world, though. Don't take it for granted, though. They are different from some of us. I don't know whether Gen Z is on this page, but I doubt. And the Gen Z, they are different. You can even cook and they'll say, oh, Daddy, I don't like this food. You don't like this food. I don't want to go to work. But you see, if they say it and they are strong about it. I recall my daughter once came to me, and Daddy, my boyfriend, and she's in class 4. Daddy, my boyfriend did not talk. I said, hey, your boyfriend. Once me, before I even come home and gather the courage and tell my parents that, oh, I've seen a young lady in someone's house. I was well over 30. Even that, I was shaking when I had to send elders to go and tell my dad that, oh, I found a girl, so they should follow me. And even the question he asked, the first question, who told you that you are up to marriage age? I said, 30 years. What do I need to show you again? 30 years. He says, who told me that I'm ready for marriage? But this is my young daughter. I said, my boyfriend did not talk to me the whole day. And you were talking to Esther. I said, hey, Jesus, your boyfriend. So their times have changed and they are more knowledgeable. They are fast. They know a lot of things. Okay, so if you have customers of this varied nature, you ought to departmentalize your efforts. That is why when you go to some churches, and forgive me if I use churches, you have youth pastor, and you have men's fellowship, women's fellowship. That is based on that whole idea. When you come to the school system, based on our customers, we have level 100, level 200. We have distance students. We have code switch. We have regular students. We have sandwich students. And I was in Kumasi. I told you I went to Kumasi. There's also Institute of Education. They're also running another program, nice programs. And as for that place, you'll be shocked. I'd never gone there before. Hey, when you go to class, you know, they camp them at one place. So I think they're also teachers. They camp them. So once you can get to class, the first day I got there, the course rep was holding bucket. He's not going to take his battle. He was holding bucket. He said, sir, Waba. I said, I'm in. I was serious. I had gone there. He said, sir, your class. The class where he is called, he's telling me my class, not his class. Sir, your class is upstairs. So he was holding bucket with sponge and towel, and then he was chewing. The chewing stick was in his mouth, and he followed me. He said, sir, your class is upstairs. I've not seen this my whole life. The course rep is holding bucket, directing me to a class, that it is my class, not his class. So you see, UCC has departmentalized based on a lot of customers within their space, and that's what makes UCC stand out. And they provide top-notch education throughout their customer base. So you know that you have a director for College of Distance Education. We have a director. We also have a director who is in charge of regular students. We have a director in charge of institutes of education. We have directors in charge of all these efforts because we segregate by customers in their taste and preferences. All right, but in all these, some choose to blend. They can have the hybrid. You are not bound to choose one. And as I mentioned, UCC, for the plethora of examples, UCC practices functional, divisional, territorial. It practices all. The point is that the hybrid is the combination of the functional and divisional. Remember, the combination of the functional and the divisional structure. Whereas, so see the picture as projected, functional and divisional. So remember the function, vice president, that's the function. In division, and here they are the functional, see vice president marketing, vice president finance, vice president materials, vice president HR. These are functions. And what are the divisions? Here they are departmentalizing by product. So vice president for refrigerator, vice president for CTV, vice president for washing machine. All right. So once you have divisional and functional departmentalization, then we say you're engaging the hybrid system. That's the hybrid system. Remember, functional and divisional. Any of the divisional, like I've said, can be by time, can be by product, can be by customer, can be by territory and all of that. So kindly note that any of them you do, you're engaging in hybrid organizational structuring. But when you have the matrix structure, here you are superimposing on a hierarchical functional structure a divisional reporting relationship. And I'll show you the diagram. So see, you are superimposing on a functional structure a divisional element. So what's the functional structure? CEO, marketing, sales, services. That ordinarily would have been it. Then you superimpose the divisions. I don't know if you can see clearly. There's electronics, home goods, and there's yummy snacks division. I don't know if you have seen that. So when you superimpose it, we say it's matrix. But once you blend it in this format, then we say you're engaging in hybrid. Please know the difference. Though there's no real difference that you could gain. But at the end of the day, the hybrid blends the best of both worlds, whereas the matrix superimposes the divisional structure on an established functional structure. Kindly note that and see the difference. So in the hybrid, look on your screen, in the hybrid, they mix all of them. Vice President, HR, marketing, finance, materials, and then Vice President, refrigerator, CTV, washing machine. Here it runs through. The functional and the divisional coexist. But here for the matrix structure, you would have the functional standout, CEO for marketing, CEO sales, CEO services. And then you have the divisional superimposed over it. Kindly note that they are outrightly the same, blending both divisional and functional levels, but one is a blend of it, the other is a superimposition. Just for objectives, kindly note that the one that is superimposed is matrix, because there's an existing functional structure and superimpose the divisional structure. But the one that blends both in a unified format is a hybrid structure. Kindly take good notice of that. Now, having said that, colleagues, we'll come to another concept in organizing. So remember, we've done some good things, right? We've seen some of the principles of organizing. We've seen what organization is. We've seen how to structure them. We can structure them by departmentation. Departmentation in relation to, it can be the functions, departmentation by functions, departmentation by divisions, which includes time, it includes products, territories, amongst others. You can do the hybrid, which is a blend, or matrix, which is a superimposition. Now, having said that, we also come to another concept of organizing as we finally get to the end of the conversation, which is delegation of authority. Colleagues, in any organization, you have to delegate. And in law, there's something we call delegatus non potens delegare. What does it mean? The lawyers, come and explain to me. Delegatus non potens delegare. What does it mean? Hey, you are all the lawyers. The lawyers on mute, ultravirus, come and tell me what it means. Ultravirus lawyers, delegatus non potens delegare. What does it mean? Hey,
I'm gonna try. A
Yeah.
delegatee cannot self-delegate.
please say again, sorry.
A delegatee cannot self-delegate to another person.
Oh, Daniel, you are welcome to the system of the court. Daniel, you are on your feet. Great. You cannot delegate delegated work. You cannot delegate delegated work. So, in other sense, when you are given a task to do, you cannot further ask someone to do it. But you see, when it comes to organizations, we agree to that. We agree that you can delegate delegated work because an organization in itself is the one that delegates the work to the managers. A business or a company owns itself. So anyone working under the company is delegated authority. Now, that person also delegates it to another person who are employees to work. And we all keep on delegating and delegating in the organization. That's the whole idea of organizing, delegating work. But the point is that when you delegate work, delegate authority. And like I've said, as I'm here, if I had no authority, you would not obey me. So, because I have some small authority from code to give assignments, I do so. Small authority to enforce that I come at 7 a.m. 7 a.m. Sometimes you are not even happy to come and join. But I don't care. It is the power I will. So when I come and there are two people, I tell the course rep, tell them that I'm starting the next meeting, the next minute or two. And she quickly does so. You see where power is? I have power, code power. Power from 7 to about 10 or 10:30. Beyond that time, when I even call, you will pick because the power is exhausted. So you see, once you run an organization, delegate the task, but delegate authority. Otherwise, the task cannot be performed. Now, in doing so, make sure, and like we have said already, and I'll not repeat, make sure that whereas you ensure that you have clarity in your delegation efforts, make sure that there is parity of authority and responsibility. Don't assign authority over and above responsibility, and don't give responsibility over and above authority. It must be the best and fair system of authority and responsibility once you engage in delegation. And when you look at Ghana's framework, and the reason as lawyers we have argued that the DCE should be elected, I hold a view that the district chief executive or the MC should be elected because the MP will go for elections. And you, the DCE, you'll be appointed. You are rather in charge of ensuring that the community or the constituency improves. You, the DCE. And the MP's only job is to make law, which some citizens don't understand. MP, you vote for MP to make laws. It's the DCE or MC that should do the actual work. Oh, my roads, drainage, this is the DCE or MC. But because they are not elected, they don't owe any responsibility to anybody in the area, in the constituency. So everyone again runs to the MP because the MP was elected. The MP came to ask them for their votes. And so if anything comes up, they run to the MP. So that's the whole idea. There is no parity of authority and responsibility. You're giving someone huge authority at DCE and the responsibility is small. And someone runs for office as an MP and the responsibilities far outweigh what he's supposed to do. That's Ghana's problem. That's Ghana's problem. Elsewhere, oh God, once you are able to think on your feet and write laws and speak some normal English, you go to court and you tell them you are going to write laws to promote their lives. In advanced democracies, those who normally run for parliament are those who have the potential of making laws. But in Ghana, we pound fufu. I recall I wanted to go for some election. Please, colleagues, be watching the space. So that's why I don't like doc. Call me Eche, so that when the poster is out, you remember that it is your humble teacher. Your humble teacher. So that at least when you are casting your vote, you are not persuaded. There was some I intend to run, though. I ran for a parliamentary seat soon. But there was one you pound fufu, and when you are done, you eat the fufu with them. Woe unto you when someone dies and you don't attend the funeral. It's this campaign manager's wife, all of these things, you have to go. And then when you are done, you go for church service. Then you visit the mosque. You also go to the shrine. Because one day they told me, there's some man who can do predictions. When he predicts, anyhow the elections are, you win. I also followed. We're in the bush. Where is this man? He said, let's be going. I said, is it that you know the location or you don't? He said, we'll be going. But when we go, he will appear himself. I said, me, appear. The person will appear. Hey, I came out. Then I said, no, you let me come and then wait for ministerial appointment. The MPD, people to appear in the bush. And now I'll talk to someone who appears in the bush. I cannot do so. So I've since left that effort. But that is the point. Once there is parity of authority and responsibility, delegation is smooth. But colleagues, the height of delegation is decentralization. The height of it. Once you're able to delegate properly, and by delegation, I'm not saying task, delegation of authority. Once you're able to delegate authority well in the organization, then you have reached the end of decentralization. Because decentralization means ensuring that authority does not stay only at the top, but authority is spread across the organization, from top to down. And we are saying that when you delegate very well, when you delegate authority very well, your best bet is that you will meet the ends of decentralization, which is clearly a systematic delegation of authority in an organization-wide context. So please, in the exams, in questions, when you are asked, systematic delegation of authority will lead to what? Simple decentralization. Decentralization is the amalgamation of delegation of authority, not delegation of task, delegation of authority. I plead with you, kindly remember. All right, on that note, we'll come to our final bit in the conversation, and this is our final class, I should say, and then I'll give my assignments. Now, as we have said, in a nutshell, once you want to delegate, when you do so, make sure that you don't put too many people under one person. Even GS, teacher to student ratio, what is it? Teacher to student ratio. What is the number? Or you are not teachers? Am I the only teacher here? I thought you were my colleague, so. Before you are my colleague, right? We are all teachers, or? Before
35.
35, I'm coming.
It's 35.
I'm coming. Are we teachers or we are not teachers? People, are we teachers?
I'm a teacher.
Yeah, we are, because I know the program is for teachers. Right? We are brothers and sisters, not so. Okay. So, what did you say the number was? A student to teacher ratio?
I said 30.
35. 35. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, Frimpoma. 35. That's the span of a teacher. Come to UCC. Regular class, we teach 1,000 students. You can be teaching one young boy from SHS. You know when they come, SHS. Say, what you are teaching, my SHS teacher did not do it like that. I said, hey, gentlemen, one young guy, he said, say, the way you had read the graph, that's not the way my SHS teacher. I said, hey, young man, be careful. Be very careful. Here, we don't teach, we lecture. This young boy, when you are teaching and you are using slides, you'll be reading the slides. Once you skip, they say, but the number 2, you didn't explain it. I said, hey, we are not in SHSO. Please, gentlemen, here we lecture. We don't teach. Have you heard? We lecture. So they are here in their thousands and they are coming. They are waiting students are even coming in addition. So you can imagine from next week, will be hot. So 35 to a teacher. Can you imagine? And for lecturer student ratio, we had 1:1,000, especially when it comes to School of Business. I know other departments have fewer classes, and that's manager, but School of Business, oh, there are millions. All right. So that's the point. When it comes to span of management, it's just the number of people or subordinates that should be under a specific manager. And like I said, the fewer, the merrier. So in a nutshell, colleagues, organization is just allocating resources and doing the best work at ensuring that you divide the task well. Make sure that once you plan, and I started by saying the Americans say, don't tell me your plan. Don't show me your plan. Show me your budget. That is organizing. Show us the frantic efforts you are making to achieve your goals. And that is what would demonstrate your seriousness. In organizing, we are saying allocate resources. And in allocating, there are some principles: delegation, span of control, decentralization, there's departmentation, to ensure that at the end of the day, you have all agreed that the business is a closed system. Sorry, it's an open system. It's not closed. It's interacting with the environment. So as and when you engage in organizing efforts, think of the changes in the environment. And it is no wonder that we have departmentation by customers, departmentation by territories, amongst others. So, colleagues, my message to you is simple: plan and organize. Are there any questions? Comments or contributions? All right, if there is none, now let me publicly say the assignments. Let me share this screen and give the assignment. Okay, so I have this. I hope you can see my screen. Coach Rep, can you see?
Yes, please.
Wait. Now, the groups. You said so in total, how many are you?
We are 16.
Oh, okay. So is there a course rep for another group? Or but
Yes.
you are the only one taking this course, right? Or they are also taking the
No,
course?
they are also taking accounting.
Are accounting students on this page, colleagues? Accounting students, are you on this page?
Yes, Doc.
Okay, excellent.
Yes, sir.
The lawyer himself. Okay, that is okay. I'm comfortable. All right. Now, can you tell me how many you are accounting? Okay, but whatever it is, let me give my directions. I've sent all these slides to you. Now, this is, I don't want to stress you guys too much. I told you what I hated as a student was assignments. So I want to make your life easy for you. Very easy for you. Form groups of 5. I need only 5 groups. Better. I hope you can hear me, since you are the one that
Yes,
interacts.
please.
Better. So there'll be groups of 5. Each group.
Okay.
So group 1 will be on leadership, group 2 control, group 3 motivating employees, group 4 managing organizational conflicts, and then group 5 managing change. Okay, now these are the groups. If you share all of you, both management and accounting, just form 5 groups. I don't want any more than that. Just 5 groups. The slides are there already. Please, all I'm asking you to do And I've been a student like you before, and I didn't like assignments. So I'm giving you easy way. Please, if you do something else, I will not be happy. The slides are there already. What I want you to do is to give a summary. All right, a written summary between 5 to 10 pages. A written summary of what is in leadership, control, motivating employees, managing organization, managing change. So conflicts and change, right? Between 5 to 10. It can be 5 pages. Just summarize what you have learned, having discussed the topic in the group. You get the instruction. Better, do you get me?
Yes, please.
So what I'm saying is that each group, you will need to have a discussion on the topic. Then when you are done, you come out with a summary for me. It shouldn't be more than 10 pages. It shouldn't be less than 5 pages. 5 to 10 pages on what you have gained as a summary. Then you have your group members and their index numbers on there. Please, you get me.
Yes, please.
Now, I know you are not happy, but I'm a teacher, so you are teachers also, but now I'm your teacher. Obia on the master. So look, when you go, better next week, okay? Next week is our last
Okay.
meeting, right? Next week is our last meeting. But next week, I'm teaching a master's class at the same time, strategic management. Okay, so what our advice, and you may guide me, would you want to come on the screen at our usual time and have and moderate this discussion amongst yourself, or you want to take that time since you all have tight schedules? Would you want to take that time next week and meet in your groups and have the discussion and give me the report at the end of the week or at the end of the discussion? Which one will be better? Will you come on the screen or you meet in groups during my period and have that discussion? What is your pleasure?
I think what you just said is has been thrown to the house.
No, you are the house.
Yeah.
That's why you are the leader. We have organized it already. You are the one with the power. Better. So what do we do? Will you guys meet as a group individually during the time we have to meet next week and have the discussion? Each group,
I think that would be fine.
each group.
Yeah,
That would
that'll
be
be
fine,
fine.
but
Okay, so, and when do you want to submit the assignment? When? Because when you have the discussion next week, Saturday, that is which date? Next week, Saturday is which date?
I think it's 13.
Please on the 10th.
Damn, great. So that's when I'll be in Sunyani. So on the 10th is when you do the discussion. When should be the earliest time you present me the assignments? When? When? After the discussion on the 10th among the groups, because I want you to use my time for that so that I don't come in to spoil your schedule. So the work I'm doing after this class, go and sleep. And next, on 10th January, when you wake up, you have the discussion between 7 to about 10 amongst your groups, and you come out with a summary for me. When are you bringing me the summary? Better. When will you send it through my mail, which I'll provide? When?
I think after 10th, then can we make it the other week?
Okay, that's 11th. Okay, so we present it on 11th.
Okay.
Is it 11th you're asking?
11th.
You know, you said the other week. The other week is 11th because 10th is Saturday.
17th. Mm-hmm.
Don't let Daniel lead you astray. Better.
Yes, Daniel too is part of me.
No. I like it better. 11th. Daniel says 17th. 11th is better.
Okay.
Or Daniel,
Wait,
I want the 7.
it's 17.
Yeah.
17 is okay.
Yes, please.
Please.
Okay.
17th.
Yeah, I'm coming.
Hey, better we can hear you.
Yeah, sorry. Someone is
They are coming to visit you. Okay. All right. So that's it. Thank you. Better on the 17th. Okay. So colleagues,
okay.
Thank you, Doc.
all right. All right. So colleagues, thank you very much. And it's been a wonderful time. Next week, you will not hear my voice in person, but I'll be waiting on your discussions as a group. And should there be any reason why we should meet again, I'll let you know. Otherwise, thank you for your audience and have a nice time. Make me proud in the quizzes and the exams.
Green glasses no. Oh, good morning. You, Patrol.
Let's not leave the group, or let's wait. All right. Have a good day.
So we didn't discuss the first week.
Thank you.
Please, colleagues, let's not leave. Let's stay and do the group before we leave. Okay.
Okay.
Some people have already left.
But I think the grouping can be done. You just put the names together, then you tell us which group one belong, and that is so. You put it on the page, and that is it.
So the problem is we have both management and accounting. And for the accounting, I don't even know the total number of people doing accounting.
Okay.
Yeah, because when you check our group, we have a lot of us, but sometimes when we are interacting, only just a few people contribute.
Oh, I think we are 10. The group, it looks
then
like
Mighty, you can go back to your page. Mighty. You can go back to your.
Then we are 10. People from there, it looks like there are over 2 are part of our groups. But we are, those of us that we are 10.
The group I created for just accounting, we are more than 10 in the group. Do you get me?
So I think that maybe you go back to your page, then you check your number, you combine with what you have in management, then you just put up the names together to create the 5 groups. Then you put the arrangement on the page so that every one of us know which area we are, or that is not appropriate.
Okay. So Becca and I will be done with the group latest in the evening. So when we are done, we'll put it in our various platforms. And when your name is not part of the group, we just alert us, then we'll add you.
Uh-huh.
All right.
So hello. Is it that the course reps are going to select the people by themselves, or we are going to do it according to center? If we are going according to the center, it will help so that those within their various enclaves will be able to meet for their various discussion. That's my suggestion.
But I thought you said we are meeting on the various groups are meeting on this particular one to do such. Use that day for that. So it can be done online as well.
Are we meeting?
We can't meet in person. We can't meet in person. We stay very far apart.
Hello. I'm not talking about meeting in person, please. That's not what I'm saying. Hello.
We are here, yes.
I'm not saying we are meeting in person. No. I was asking if the groupings can be done in how do we call it? Maybe those in Cape Coast, like based on centers. That's what I'm asking. No, and not in-person meeting.
If you want to do some of the centers, when you go to
You
data,
know, you get some center, you have just one person.
Oh, okay. I get it. All right.
So
thank
those
you.
in Cape Coast, are you many?
Will
we
you
are
be up
about
to
four.
5?
Yeah, we are about 4 or 5.
Okay. So I'm
Yeah.
in Accra, and in my center, I'm the only person there.
Look at this.
Okay, that's fine. All right.
So
Okay.
it should be a random picking so that we join the group and do.
Sure, sure. I get it. All right. Thank you.
Awesome.
So Becca and I will be done with the group later in the evening. So we'll put it on our various.
Okay, have you taken any decision? I went off.
Please, we are just
Gilali,
the group.
Kobina, are you there?
This is Becca.
Yes, I'm here.
Hello? Yes, there.
I'm talking about the group. So I'll contact you the group
Yes.
and then we'll place it in the various later in the evening.
Oh, okay. But you factor Kobina 2 in.
Okay.
Currently, I'm very busy.
Okay.
So, Kobina, you lace with him and then I'll be going off for now.
Is any other strategy?
Okay, so as you said, so let's wait so that in the evening we will see the classes, the various groups that we are in. Then we start from there.
Okay.
Right.
Then bye.
Bye.